got a little interesting statistic here for you. Gun sales at record levels, according to FBI background checks, as of December 2011. With a few days left in December, the FBI reports the number of background checks has already topped the previous one-month record, set only in November, by the way, of 1.534 million inquiries by gun dealers to the National Instant Criminal Background Check System, also known as NICS. Almost 500,000 checks were done in just the last 6 days before Christmas. 2 days before Christmas, they ran 102,000 background checks, which was the second busiest day in history. The one-day record, by the way, the record, was set this year on Black Friday, the big shopping day following Thanksgiving, with 129,166 searches. By comparison, the previous one-day high was set in November 2008 when gun dealers made slightly less than 98,000 requests for background searches. Now that's interesting because in November of 2008, I remember everybody was all nervous about Obama. He's going to go for they're going to implement the assault rifle ban again. You better get your assault rifles now because you're not going to be able to buy them, blah, blah, blah. So people went out and bought some guns. So in November 28, 2008, there was only 98, not only, because that's quite a bit, 98,000. So here we have no kind of presidential election going on to where we're worried about who's winning. You know, it's not like it happened this month or last month. And we have 129,000 searches in Thanksgiving, and then slightly less than that, which it says, well, 102,222 in December, which was 2 days before Christmas. FBI officials did not offer a theory on the spike in gun sales. It also is not clear how many of the background checks were for people who never had owned guns before and how many were for gun owners adding to their collections. Let's see what we got. Oh, here's a quote from the is this NRA. I think there's an increased realization that when something bad occurs, it's going to be between them and the criminal, NRA spokesman said. Okay. Americans realize police cannot be everywhere there's trouble, and also that some officers are being laid off due to budget cutting. You know, that's probably why the Americans just went crazy and bought a bunch of guns. That's probably what it is. You don't think there's at least a few Americans paying attention to what's happening in their country, even if they don't talk about it, even if they're not doing YouTube videos or anything like that. You don't suppose there's at least a few, tiny few, millions of Americans that do have a clue, or are at least kind of saying, I never thought I'd see this happen, and it did. 3 months ago when I said I never saw this happen, yeah. Man, did you see the NDAA thing that got passed? Obama even signed it along. Man, I voted for Obama, man. I said, we wouldn't talk about this kind of stuff when he was president. Open government, less government. What the hell's going on here, man? NDAA, now they can detain people without due process, man. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. You don't think that has anything to do with it, do you? Nah. There are people just worried about self-defense out of nowhere. That's probably all that is. Yeah. Nothing to worry about. Go back to sleep. So, that's interesting news, one way or the other. And it lets you know the signs of the times. I applaud people for going and getting a gun. You shouldn't have to sit here, or even want to sit here, and say, well, if anyone ever breaks into my house, or anyone ever, tries to rob me at gunpoint or this, I'll just call the police. Because there's an old saying that is attached to that. When seconds matter, the police are just minutes away. And that is so true. When seconds matter, you have seconds, life or death situation, the police, who could save you potentially, are minutes away. And since seconds happen faster than minutes, you are out of luck. Which is why you should all have a concealed weapons permit if you can get one in your state. If you live in an open carry state, well, that's just fantastic. Like Texas, I believe. So, it's just a sign of the times. You know, people are waking up. And I'm starting to notice myself, even with just the average kind of, person, you start to hear people talk a little bit, just overhear someone talking about something. Yeah, there's a lot of sheep. Yeah, there's a lot of sheep. But back in the day, not even that long ago, a couple years ago even, I would never be able to run up on somebody or walk by and hear any kind of conversation that I would like to be a part of, like the stuff we talk about on YouTube in these videos. It just would never happen. And I see more and more of that now, where you don't know someone, whatever, you're walking right by, you kind of sitting in line, sitting in line somewhere waiting, you're hearing people talking, and yeah, sheep, but hey, I can overhear these guys over here. Oh, that's it, yeah. Man, I could get on that conversation right about now. But of course I don't know them. They don't know me. I'm just going to sit here and listen. So, people are waking up, slowly but surely. It's not going to matter because nobody's going to wake. There's not going to be enough people who wake up in advance to stop things. Things are already in motion. The snowball is already pushed down the hill. People are waking up, which means some of them are moving out of the way. Most of them are not. Most of them are going to get crushed by the snowball. You and me, we have been out of the way of the snowball for a long time now. And now we can comment on the other idiots standing in front of the snowball, as well as some of them moving out of the way at the last minute. So, interesting statistic to say the least, would you not agree? Record. The world record, at least for America anyways, America's record in gun sales of all time, has just been hit. Second best December, only to be bettered by a month earlier, Black Friday basically, world, the record. So it's not like, oh yeah, 3 years ago we had a record and finally it got beat, this year, and then 2 years later it'll get beat again. No. The record was 2008, new record last month, and then we have basically a close second place right away in December. I mean, it just lets you know. So anyways, that's all I got for you now. Take care.